Done. Okay, welcome everyone. Tonight's forum meeting is officially opened at 5:30 p.m. So that's item number 1, declaration of opening. That's on page 6 of our agenda. Welcome to councillors, members of the public or gallery, and all the officers or staff. So it's good to see everyone here. For members of online and members of the gallery, this is not a decision-making night. This is a forum. So this is a chance for councillors to ask questions in readiness for next week to make a decision on every item that is here. Members of the public or gallery are able to participate in 2 sections. Even if you've said no so far, I'm still going to refer to you in a couple of items, and then I'll continue on with the meeting. And just it's a reminder for anyone online, yes, so it's a question and answer so we can make decisions next week fully informed. Item number 2 is opening procedures. Item 2.1 is acknowledgement of country. So the Shire of Northern would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land on which we meet, which is the Ballabong people, but our Shire also extends to Wadjuk country, and we pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Recording of council meetings, item 2.2. So members of council are aware, but members of the gallery may not be aware. This has been live streamed and recorded, and it's made available on the Shire of Northern's YouTube channel. If members of the public would like access, you can do so via the Shire of Northern website. Item number 3 is attendees. So we have the councillors as sitting around the table, and I'll get to one councillor in a minute. But as usual, I'll go from left to right to acknowledge all the councillors. So we have Councillor Biglan, Councillor Gierak, Councillor Williams, Councillor Mencelli, President Antonio, Councillor Appleton, Councillor Polton and Councillor Hughes. The staff, we have all the staff as listed here. We have the Chief Executive Officer, Ms Terling, Executive Manager Engineering Services, Mr Devsich, Executive Manager Development and Community Services, Mr Hunt, Executive Manager Corporate Services, Mr Young, Manager Governance and Risk, Ms McCall, and Governance Officer, Ms Van Beek, are all in attendance. Item 3.2 is apologies. We have an apology from Councillor Ryan, so that's why I didn't mention his name before, and item 3.4 absent is Neil. We now go to page 8 of the agenda, which is item number 4, page 8, disclosure of interest, which I have received a few. And I'll go through those and I'll just mention that again as the item comes up. So item 13.3.2 is Walk of Fame inductees. Councillor Hughes has declared impartiality. A number of the nominees are known to Councillor Hughes. One of the nominees is a relative of Councillor Hughes. Councillor Appleton has declared the same item, impartiality. Nominees are known to Councillor Appleton. Councillor Mencelli has declared impartiality. Some of the people nominated are known to Councillor Mencelli. Councillor Gierak has declared impartiality. Several nominators and nominees of the Walk of Fame are known to me. Also, some of the nominees are on the NACHA committee, which Councillor Gierak is a member of. President Antonio, that's myself, has declared interest in item 13.3.2, same item, Walk of Fame inductees. Several of the nominees are known to President Antonio. Same item, Councillor Williams has declared impartiality. Some of the nominees are known to Councillor Williams. Item 13.3.3, this is for Councillor Williams. Councillor Williams is an executive member of the Bakers Hill Progress Association who may benefit from these policies. Members of other associations are known to Councillor Williams. Item 13.4.1, fees and charges 2025-26. Councillor Williams has declared impartiality. Councillor Williams is a member of Bakers Hill Progress Association who leases the Bakers Hill Recreation Association, who leases the Bakers Hill Recreation Association. Yeah. Yeah, that's all right, we'll correct that when we minute that. Item 13.4.1. So the same item, Councillor Bigland has declared impartiality. Councillor Bigland, the Secretary Treasurer of the Wundarra Progress Association, member of the Silver Wings are known to Councillor Bigland, and Taekwondo are also known to Councillor Bigland. And then there's a matter behind closed doors, 14.1, which we'll deal with at that time. And councillors are well aware, so that as an item comes up, they can still make a declaration of interest if they remember it, and it's important that we deal with that before the items is voted on next week. So, page 9 is item number 5, which is announcements by the presiding member without discussion. So I take that as read. So then we go to page 11. So item number 6 is public questions. I don't believe any members of the public have questions, but I'll still refer to you just in case you've got any questions. No? So item number 7 is response to previous public questions taken on notice. That is nil. Item number 8 is receiving of petitions, presentations and deputations. 8.1 petitions is nil. 8.2 presentations is nil. 8.3 deputations. I will go to members of the public. This is when you can make a request for a deputation, which is basically a statement, just in case you want to say something. No? So thank you for that. So then we go to page 12, which is item number 9, application for leave of absence. That is nil. Item number 10 is confirmation of minutes. 10.1 is confirmation of minutes from the ordinary council meeting held on the 28th of May 2025. Is there any questions or clarifications on that, councillors? No. So then we've got item 10.2, I'll read out the title. Notes from the council forum meeting held 11th of June 2025, that's tonight. So we'll have questions on that and make a decision on that next week. So that'll be a new item next week. And then we've got item number 11, item brought forward for the convenience of those in the public gallery. I'm not aware, so I'm just going to continue on in the agenda as it is listed. So then we go to page 13. Item number 12 is reports of committee meetings. 12.1, we've got both the minutes and the recommendations from the Audit and Risk Management Committee meeting held 20th of May 2025. Any questions or clarifications on that, councillors? No? No, so we'll vote on that next week. And then we go to page 15, which is item number 13, officer reports. The first one is 13.1, CEO's office. And then the first item is 13.1.1, adoption of CP 61, privacy information handling and breach of information policy. I'll just invite either the CEO or representative, Ms. McCall, just to make, if they want to make any comments and brief the council on this.
So the policy presented to council, it's been workshopped and also presented through the Audit and Risk Committee. We already had an existing privacy policy which is in response to the amendments or changes which the organisation is required to make in response to the Privacy and Responsible Information Sharing Act. So basically the policy captures new additions which relate to data breaches. So it covers the process, links the process to the policy and any other changes which are required.
So any questions or clarifications on this, Councillor Mangelli?
Yes, Mr. President. I believe the coming into effect of this particular legislation is down the track sometime, is that correct?
Yep, so at this stage, the implementation is aimed for 2026. It is possible it could be deferred, but at this stage we're working towards 2026 implementation.
Thank you. And I'm just asking a question, I've got the answer as well, but it's just, the press is on page 25, press, and then I asked what was the full description, then I found it back on page 19 in the amended one, which is privacy and responsible information sharing. So Just in case anyone is wondering and any member of the public picked it up, that's the only reason I'm questioning it. Yes. So if anyone is wondering, it is in the report. So any further questions, councillors? No. So then we go to page 36. So item 13.2 is engineering services, that is new. And item 13.3, development and community services. Item 13.3.1 is development application P25036, expansion of peak power plant. Can't even get on it. And Mr. Hunt, the exec manager, has already come up just to give us a quick briefing on this. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. President. This application relates to a piece of land that council had dealt with previously. It's out in the Abbott Industrial Park. It is an extension of the existing peak power plant out there. Previously it was diesel generators. That's now been converted to batteries. This is further extending that. A little bit of an anomaly here in terms of it's actually located on the state government land, which is adjacent to where the existing plant is, but it has got a subdivision approval and it's going through that process to be amalgamated with the power plant land. So the reason it's been referred to council determination because of the value of the works and exceeds council staff delegation. But board recommendations for approval.
Thank you. Any questions, Mr. Hunt? Yeah, Mr. Councillor Hughes.
The discharge, I mean, the diesel was for off peak generation, so when there wasn't enough power yet, the diesel started melting and boosted the power that was required around the place. But the battery is just being charged off the grid, isn't it?
That's my understanding. It will be reached
Further questions, councillors? Yeah, Councillor Mancelli.
The development cost on this particular project is 55 mil. Correct?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and our development costs stop at 21.5 mil. Is that? So does it stay at?
In terms of the fees,
Yeah, the fees,
the
yeah.
sliding scale, so it'll be a percentage of the total value.
It'll slide up from 21.5 because you've got a figure in there for 21.5 mil and it slides up to 55 mil. So
That's correct.
correct. Okay, just want to clarify that. Thank you.
Yeah, Councillor Hero.
It also says that the lifespan of the facility is only 25 years. Is that because that's the lifespan of the batteries themselves?
We can clarify, but that'd be my understanding with the life cycle of the batteries.
And also in the planning application, I noticed that this area is not prone to bushfire. Is that correct? Because they don't need a bushfire well assessment. Is that correct?
That was part of that assessment, that's correct.
Yeah.
Further questions, councillors?
Yeah. One more.
Oh, Councillor Hero.
One more question, just regarding the sound levels. One of the assessment on page 84 was preparing for the sound assessment is based on 2.5 meters. Like a wall built around the facility, is that correct? Did I understand?
Sorry?
Yeah.
And the question is there a binding?
Yes, is there like some kind of sound barrier built around the facility to
I'll clarify that before the meeting next week. I don't believe there was. I think they take this time at a certain level above ground, but I'll double check before next week.
It's just when I look at the plan, but might read the plan wrong, but it seems like there is like a bounding area around the batteries. So I don't know if that is like a wall. It's kind of covering the three sides. So I was wondering if that's a wall. Yeah.
Yeah, I can clarify that. I think I'll have a chat after the meeting.
So before councillor Guerrero comes up with another question, I'm just on the same theme, I just want to clarify, it wasn't in the report, so there hasn't been any noise complaints to date. I can confirm that.
No,
And thank you between yourselves, Mr Hunt, councillors, all of the questions have been answered. So further questions on this item, councillors? So item 13.3.2 is Walk of Fame inductees. Just a reminder, Councillor Bolton did declare impartiality in this item as well. Some of the nominees are not Bolton. Just a reminder, Councillor Bolton, President Antonio, Councillor Mills, Councillor Appleton, Councillor Micheli, Councillor Guerrero, Councillor Williams have all declared impartiality. So, Mr Hunt, would you just like to give us a comments?
very quickly on the CH further report, there was the council adopted a policy back in 2024, and then we've had the expression of interest closed, had a number of nominations, and the selection committee has met and has made the recommendations. Obviously, we're keeping that a little bit confidential for the announcement, so that's why the actual nominees' names have been withheld, but obviously an announcement in a future time when it's revealed at the Walk of Fame.
Thank you very much. And thanks for that. I was just going to remind councillors, if you do have questions, please do not begin it down. And with that, it's reiterated that as well. So any questions on this, councillors? Councillor Williams.
In the actual policy, it says that there is one independent community member. Council actually voted for two, so should that actually be reflected in the policy, or is that just because at this particular point in time, there's been two voted for? That's not part of the policy.
So in terms of the selection committee,
Yes.
I assume if the council wishes to have two, I mean, they should amend the policy.
We did go through council, and the council decision was to actually have two community members and one proxy. It's just that the policy hasn't been reviewed and updated as yet, but that the policy will be reviewed and updated, and it will include two community members and a proxy.
Thank you. Also wondering why the proxy was actually at the meeting, given that both of the community representatives were there. It's not supposed to be involved, I think, when the members that they are proxy for are actually attending.
Yes, I think there was some doubt until the evening that the two members were actually going to be there, so the proxy did attend the meeting just to ensure that we did have the two community representatives there.
Councillor Guerrero, did you have a question? I thought I saw your query.
Yes, in a way I did, but didn't. Just regarding the matrix, so that was completed by the individual panel members, so it wasn't like a policy combined matrix completed, which we would perhaps look at.
Yes, I think we, before the report was presented, we were still umming and ahhing about the confidentiality, but we can certainly provide the completed matrix that was done with all the, so the committee did actually sit there and go through the matrix together and come to agreement on the inductees for the inaugural Walk of Fame, but we can certainly provide that to council members confidentially.
Yes, can we just have it? Thank you.
Further questions, councillors?
I got one, but I don't have to put into a question. Because I disagree with one completely, but anyhow.
That's the question that's a member of the debate.
Yeah, I don't have to put into a question.
The question would be, what do you do if you don't like one of the nominees? And the CEO will correct me, the answer will be, we'll debate that next week. That's a question and answer.
Very cool.
So that's it. Further questions, councillors? Councillor Appleton?
Is there any reason that a group was considered as a single nominee?
So there were more than one nominee for a group. So did you have a particular nomination number you're referring to?
18.
That's how they were nominated.
That's our number. Yep. Further questions, councillors? No. So we'll debate and to make a decision on that next week. So then we go to page 141. So 13.3.3, development and community services policies. Just a reminder that Councillor Williams declared impartiality in this item. Any questions on this one, councillors? Yeah, Councillor Bigland.
Mr. President, I don't have a question, but I have a clarification for the component in relation to the ongoing progress and Silverwings meeting that is being tabled in here about how they wanted to, have we had a discussion with Silverwings? Not this item, sorry.
It's fees and charges.
The fees and charges.
Fees and charges.
Well, it does come into the fees and charges. Because of the $1,500 for Silverwings, so it is part of the fees and charges.
Yes, that's correct. It's not under this item.
Next item, not in the
I'm
sorry.
lifting my mouse, so I can't.
Any questions? Councillor Williams.
Progress associations being able to get an allocation, are they still able to then, you can't double dip with the grants and the allocations, but I was just wondering about things that have traditionally been allocated, for example, does that now have to come under the community, the Progress Association allocation, or is the Progress Associations still able to apply extra funding on top of that allocation?
Yes, so that the way that it's written is that it's for a particular event or project. So if you can't double dip for the same project or event.
Yeah, that's, yeah. Further questions, councillors? No. So then, thank you, Mr. Hunt. So I'll invite Mr. Young up for the next sections, in case there's any questions. So we're going to go to page 194. So 13.4 is corporate services, 13.4.1 is fees. 25.26, I believe Councillor Bigland has a question for this item. Oh.
Yes, my comment.
Yeah.
So we the Progress held a meeting with Silverwings Committee on yesterday. Well, I can give you an answer, I can't give you a question.
We won't for an answer.
We waited for an answer about outcome of the meeting.
Yes, that's correct. It would be useful to have an update on the outcome of the meeting.
So sorry.
So just for the members, anyone listening, so there'll be a question asked in the background and Councillor Bigland's providing an answer to the question's already been asked, which was?
So we understand in relation to the One Dowry Progress Association fees for the hall, that they are looking to, increase the cost for Silverwings fees in terms of the use of the hall and also the permanent office facilities that they have. And there was a question around the capability of Silverwings to pay the increased fee.
And the outcome of the meeting is that the Progress and the Silverwings Committee agreed that to a $750 this year, next financial year, a $750 the financial year after, then the third year to go to the $1,500. That gives them an ability to get their funds together, and it's not all of a sudden a surprise to them. So the whole committee was agreed with that process.
Now, that was one of the rough options that was provided
That's right.
background. So do we need to do anything prior to next week?
Yes, so just confirming, so it will be $750 in 25-26,
Correct.
$750 in 26-27,
Correct.
and $1,500 in 27-28.
Correct.
Yes,
So
that's fine.
if we update the policy, that'll be all right.
So we'll update the schedule of fees and charges before next week to reflect that.
Yeah. Councillor Williams had a question?
Yes. On page 208, the community amenities, the proposed for this year is all PBAs. So I'm just wondering if that's going to be filled for the next committee.
We generally adopt the curbside rubbish with budget adoption, which likes to be advised, but we might have that ready by next meeting, and if we do, we'll put it in, but if not, it'll come up with budget adoption.
Further questions, Councillor Polton?
Relating to the fund fees and charges, the closure of the skip phase, where that's going to move in the future as far as science go.
And that might be a better question for one of the other executive managers, but at this point in time, no, we don't have any further update on where we expect the site to go. What I can say is, as it's described in the report, that and as we agreed at the budget workshop #1, that all the fees and charges for waste, we are putting up by 5.5% this year, and we'll put them all up by 5% again next year, which will give us a surplus every year that will pay for the closure of the site and rehabilitation. However, that won't pay for any additional costs that will be burdened on residents depending on where the site will be in the future.
Councillor Gurek?
I just would like to confirm if one of the figures are correct on page 203.
Sorry, what page?
Page 203,
203.
and it's under application establishment new supermarket premises. So the 24-25 figure was $1,343, and the proposed figure is $138. Quite a difference. So I wonder if that is still listed.
I think Councillor Gurek's asking, would you normally reduce fees, Mr Young?
No.
That much.
That was certainly a typo. Thank you very much, Andrea.
Thank you. Well done.
Good pick up.
Don't know why numbers just jump at me.
Further questions, councillors?
There was also another one regarding the, like I suppose that's probably correct, but I'm just wondering, in regards to the earth moving large tires and rims on 209, page 209.
209.
And I'm just wondering if that's proportionally the fee charged, is it correct compared to the other ones? Like I know they are big tires, but just they seem quite expensive. So it's $1,530 per tire.
Yeah, that's based on what they charge us to remove them as well, because they will get recycled, so it's cost recovery plus a percentage, so that's why I think that cost.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for that. Councillor Mantelli.
Just in relation to the tip charges, the tip's destined for closure around about 2032.
Correct. Sounds good.
That's what
Councillor Further questions, councillors? Councillor Bolton?
With the law and order and public safety
On page,
on page 300, the dog sterilisation between 1 and 3 years, can you explain the cost difference between those for 50 to 120?
So what page was that?
Page 200.
200.
They're actually statutory fees that are set by legislation. So it's the question around why there is a difference or?
Yeah.
So one is for a 1 year registration and the other one is for a 3-year registration.
Okay.
further questions, councillors? Just wanted to clarify, it's probably a discussion I'll have to see later. Have fees changed around not-for-profits and youth groups and things like that for hiring facilities? Are they proposed to be changed?
There has been some of them changed for the Wandeli Ball at request of Progress Association, so we split the fees between commercial and community groups, and that brings them in line with other community facilities such as Davis Hill, Precinct, Opportunity.
I think you're maybe referring to the fees that are charged. There are groups that may seek fee waivers and they're considered on a case-by-case basis, but there's no intent to increase the fees. I think the question you're asking is more related to them, the fee waivers and whether they fit within the policy.
Yeah, it's probably more about that. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, Councillor Gurek.
On page 209, special barriers, there are two different figures, one by cubic meter and one by ton. So what determines which measurement will be charged?
We don't have the facilities at the Ingpen waste facility to charge by the tonne. We don't have a weighbridge, so we do it 35 metres square.
So then why is the ton fixed? Why is ton actually reflected in the chart? Why is the ton reflected in the chart?
One facility.
And it's
Further questions, councillors? No, so that's fees and charges, which we vote on. Then we go to page 226. So 13.4.2, advertising of 2025-26 differential rates. Questions, councillors? Just a clarification, Mr. Young, I know you explained it. On page 227, you've got the proposed minimum rates, and you've given a background why you've got the proposed minimum rates all the same, but UV regional is just a little bit less, which I'm not complaining about, I'm just clarifying. Just clarifying, I thought the aim was to make them all exactly the same, or was that just mathematically the way it worked out?
2 years ago we did make them all the same, and there was quite a substantial increase for the UV regional rural. Last year there was going to be another large increase, so we actually decreased it last year, or we didn't increase as much as the other minimum rates. This year we applied 3.5% to all minimum rates, which included that rate, which did increase it. If we pushed that rate up to the same as the other rates, we wouldn't be able to meet our 50% quota on minimum rates, and plus we would go above the 50% greater on actual rate in the dollar. So, and that would give that an increase greater than what it currently has. The average increase across that category is going 8% at the moment, so we wouldn't have went any more than that.
Councillor Mancelli.
So, to the Executive Manager Corporate Services, my question is, the unimproved values have gone up fairly substantially this year to enable the rate in the dollar to go down.
Correct. UV valuations on average went up by about 20%.
22%. Thank you.
Any more questions? Further questions, councillor? Trying to phrase this as a question, there's no further question. This is a good question, Mr. Young. How do we make sure we tell all the neighbouring landowners in other shires that our rates are comparative to the other shires?
I would expect maybe their executive manager of corporate services does exactly what we do and does a comparison table around to just see where you sit, and that's just good practice.
Thank you for that. Further questions? No? So we'll vote on that next week. Then we go to 13.4.3, which is page 233. And 13.4.3, accounts and statements of accounts May 2025. I haven't seen any questions come in for the officers to be able to answer. So is there anything urgent? Otherwise, I'll just encourage councillors to get in as quick as possible. Oh, Councillor Mancelli.
Yeah, look, I've just got one, Mr. President, relating to the fees that we pay NRM. Quarterly fee for the Corellas project.
I don't believe we pay a quarterly fee for travel.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, the exact figure was $9,000, I think, from memory. Hang on, let me just find it. Yeah, sorry, $9,625. But we also had an account from Urban Bird Trust for the Henry Street Oval. Is that for Corellas as well?
I'm not sure what page it is, but I believe it might be for some of the baby we put up at their hockey pitch.
That's right, I do remember them, yeah. Thank you.
Councillor Bigler.
My question is, we've had this discussion, but for the purposes of the public, around Bakersfield Rec Centre, the Water Court, page 244, the invoice amount is $4,251.17. And I do note further down a lot, also Water Court have some quite significant increases in it. Can you just advise me as to why that is gone up significantly? Thank you.
Bakersfield, just generally because the charge per kilolitre is on an increasing scale as the year goes on. The bill in question was for February and March, so it's right at the top of the bill, and the same thing happens across all the bills. We're right at the top range, and with such a hot summer.
Just one more on page 246, the Wandowie swimming pool has an invoice amount of $9,841.19. Did we have a hole in the pool or something strange that we needed to fill up?
The Wandowie meter had been being estimated for a number of years. Their back charges have been added to it with this bill, as well as it being at the top end of the scale for compounded both issues.
Just to clarify for any member of the public, water meters are read by the Water Corp and not in case any member of the public is wondering. Councillor Kierak.
The reason for that is because they contact us the facility to implement that.
Correct. Further questions on this, councillors? So if you do have any questions, please get them in as quick as possible. So then we go to page 299. So 13.4.4, financial statements for the period ending 31st of May 2025. Any questions on this? Have one, I'll email him afterwards, but it's not urgent at the moment, so that's all right. So then we go to page 323. And just neglected to say, I don't think I said 13.4.1, just to remind Councillor Bigland and Councillor Williams declared partiality in some case. That was not recorded, so I'm just making sure of that. So then we go to page 323. Then we have item number 14, matters behind closed doors. Councillor Mencelli is moving, Councillor Gierac is seconding. I'll put that straight to the vote. All those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. I'll just go back to the other agenda while we bring our members back. Welcome back. So we'll make a decision on those two items next week for members of the gallery and any members looking online, members of the gallery and any people looking online. So now we're on page 323 of our agenda. So we've got item number 15, which is motions at which previous notice has been given, is nil. Item 16 is urgent business approved by decision, is nil. And item number 17 is declaration of closure at 6:28 p.m. I'd like to thank councillors for their questions, and we're looking forward to helping debate next week in decision making. And thanks officers for their professional reports and